Boys and girls, we are looking at the Suros Regime Exotic Catalyst. This Exotic Catalyst is dropping from Crucible, guys. I actually got mine from Mayhem. Some people have gotten it from Quick Play and Competitive, and I think it's dropping pretty frequently. Now, after it drops to fully Masterwork Suros Regime, you're gonna have to go right back into Crucible and get 300 kills with Suros. And not 300 opponent defeats, I'm talking about 300 raw kills. Needless to say, it's going to take you a little bit of time. It took me about 3-4 hours, but let's go ahead and jump into this review. Guys, first up, Suros. Intrinsically, it comes with the perk Suros Legacy. The bottom half of each magazine deals bonus damage and has a chance to return health on kill. Now, that bonus damage is really nice. We've tried out some builds with things like Actium War Rig inside of PvP, primed our weapon all the way down to the bottom half of that magazine, and took advantage of that increase in damage. It does really well with dual speed receiver. But as far as the chance to return health on kill, what it originally was, I'm not sure. All I know is that inside of PvP, I never really depended on Suros Legacy to keep me alive. It's definitely not at the level or even close to something like Crimson or Red Death back in Destiny 1. Now, the barrel perk here is Hammerforge Rifling for that increase in range, Tactical Mag, and the two traits here we have Spinning Up and Dual Speed Receiver. Now, Spinning Up actually starts the weapon out at its default 600 rounds per minute. After 12 shots, it speeds up to 720, and then after another 12 shots, it speeds all the way up to 900. So Suros Regime essentially turns into Doctrine of Passing when fully amped. Very nasty. Now, with Dual Speed Receiver, it actually drops our rounds per minute down to 360. So both of these traits definitely alter the damage greatly, as Suros with Dual Speed Receiver does 36 damage per crit, and Spinning Up, it does 21 per crit. Now let's talk about this Masterwork. What does it do? It actually increases the chance for kills to regenerate health, and something that's actually hidden is that it gives you a plus 50 Recoil Direction. Now, the weapon by default already has 50 recoil direction. So the recoil was never perfect, but with that extra plus 50, it does keep everything more vertical. Now, the increase in chance for kills to regenerate health, how often is that? And is this something that we can use reliably? I would say in PvP, I was getting health regeneration just about every other kill. Again, it's still a chance. So sometimes like 2 or 3 kills back to back will give me health, and then sometimes 2 or 3 kills, I got no health regeneration. So it's really hard to gauge what that chance actually is. Now, the beautiful thing about that health regeneration though is that it doesn't just start health regeneration, it actually gives you a small bump in health. So if you're like right on the edge of dying, you're gonna get a small bump in health and simultaneously start health regeneration. Now, is this Exotic Catalyst worth the trouble to fully Masterwork? First up, I like to point out that I am a huge fan of Suros Regime. This is the second time I'm reviewing this right now because I was pretty upset in my initial review and I just scrapped it, and this is the second review. You see, guys, considering how long it's taken for these Exotic Catalysts to finally be put into the game, I was expecting more. And I'm not saying that I don't like the Suros Regime Catalyst. It does what it's supposed to do. It simply allows Suros Regime to be a better version of itself. Not by a whole lot, but an added benefit for sure. And 2 added benefits between Recoil Direction and the extra health regeneration. But with that being said, I could have thought of so many different ways to make this catalyst on Suros pop so much more. For instance, Spinning Up, a catalyst that I would love to have seen on this weapon, is one that alters Spinning Up and allows it to bypass the 600 rounds per minute and immediately jump to 720. And the first round of the magazine allows this weapon to shoot at 720 rounds per minute, while the second half allows it to shoot at the full 900 rounds per minute. And as far as Dual Speed Receiver, aka Focus Fire, it would have been nice if the Masterwork allowed Focus Fire to have extended range, allowing for this exotic to hang in those mid-ranges. Overall, guys, the Suros Regime Catalyst is definitely not bad. It does what it's supposed to do, it just simply lacks the creativity that I was hoping for. And I probably just kind of got off and was expecting too much there. But considering how many times we saw these catalysts push back further and further, I just assumed each and every single time meant that these exotic catalysts was being rethought and redone and reworked to a level that greatly surpassed what we saw there in the database last year. Overall, fellas, Suros has the potential to be pretty nasty in the right hands. Will it compete against the meta? Probably not. That is an unfortunate reality about this weapon, but it's not to say you can't go inside of something like Quick Play and chew through some people. I mean, the weapon has one of the lowest time to kills at 0.6 seconds when fully spun up. And unfortunately, the Exotic Catalyst here doesn't really aid it in terms of its lethality, but instead just makes Suros behave and shoot like it should already be doing originally. Now, for my PvE players, should you use Suros inside of PvE? I would say that the health regeneration, it procs, but again, 50% of the time. So whether or not you can use this reliably, that depends on you. It's not like Crimson, where I was like hanging on life's edge, constantly healing myself back up, especially when I used to go into raids with other raid teams and be super underleveled. You 100% cannot utilize it in that same way. It's just like one of those weapons, as you're getting kills, you're just gonna be like, oh, and I got some health back. That's nice. And then you move on. And that's pretty much it. So guys, that is Suros Regime and the Catalyst. Again, we've waited, what, 10 months? 9 months for this? I was expecting more, boys. I'm not gonna lie, I am a tad bit disappointed. Now, for my PC players, specifically on mouse and keyboard, we probably will be re-reviewing Suros Regime sometimes this week after getting the Catalyst over there. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.